So this is the Sigma 18 to 35, set at 35, f-stop f1.3, ISO 400, and I'm looking to see how crisp it is really. So I think I've focused this plane here, so I'm hoping that if my face is on that plane I should be in focus. Again, this is the Sigma 18 to 35, 1.8 lens, but with the speed booster it's 1.3, set at ISO 400, and I'm hoping this plane here is in focus. Let's see. Do a little comment. Oh yes, oh yeah, I'm doing an interview. Yeah, chit chat. Okay, so this is the same lens, same settings, just I've moved the camera closer to more of a close-up to see if that has any difference. I've got this, there's the sun reflecting through the mirror, so that's a little bit annoying, but that will go eventually. I can see green. Yeah. So if I'm having an interview like this, so this would be a little bit too low. I need to boost it up a little bit if I was you. Yes. Well, let's do that. Good evening. Now that's a better height. It looks like I'm talking to you. Well, I'm more inclined to look straight at the camera there. It's quite comfortable, the lens. So yeah, same again. Am I in the focal plane? Don't know where I got that word from, but it's right, isn't it? See, cinematography knowledge from film school, I did embed somewhere into my brain. This is me. Am I in focus? On 35mm focal length, is it in focus? I can't tell from here, that's why I have to check back once I've taken the hard drive off the camera and have a look on the computer in 4K. So, okay, 4K. So this is the Tonica 11 to 16 wide angle lens, set at 2.8. I look fat. Is that just the wide angle lens around here? So this is 16 and not 10. Yeah, it's not my favourite lens at all in terms of people. But if you're doing property, like National Trust properties and stuff, a wide angle lens is amazing, especially going down corridors and things like that. So this is the Tokina 11 to 16. Again, f2.8, but with the speed booster f2, ISO 400. And this is at its fullest widest, so this is at 11. Okay, so this is, as I say, the Samyang 24mm 1.5. It comes across a little bit milky, sort of like a yellowy milky kind of colour, which is quite nice aesthetic. It's kind of a 70s nice soft down memory lane feel. This is the same Samyang 24 at f2, just wanting to check how the sharpness changes with the lenses as you go up. Okay, so this is f2.8. It's getting darker, obviously, but, and this it's getting very dark. This is f4. F4. Oh, this is probably maybe my favourite lens. This is a Samyang 35 in terms of lens size, because you get a nice bit of background and the subject, so you've got quite a bit of room. So I think, if someone's on a beach or something like that where there's a nice sort of architectural background behind as well, perhaps, then the 35 is a good choice. So this is it at T 1.5, not f 1.5, it's t 1.5. So this is T2. It's probably about a meter and a bit, a meter and a quarter or something, 125 centimeters away from me. It doesn't feel too intimidating. I mean, it is there in your face, but it's not in your face. Great. See you soon. All the best. And have some coffee. Look, see what I look like drinking coffee. I should drink it with this hand, really. That way you get to see Baymax. Big Hero 6, very good film. So now with that coffee hit, this is T 2.8. Getting dark, obviously, but here you go. This is what it is. And then here we are at F4. Yeah, it's too dark without a bit of manipulation in the old grading suite. This is the Samyang 50mm T1.5 at 1.5. So this is probably 2 meters away. I'm 2 meters away from the subject. It's actually much more comfortable, and I think it's a nice distance away. It's not too intimidating. This is the same at F or T2. I'll be back. Not that T2. Yeah, so what I've heard on YouTube videos is that when you're doing shallow depth of focus and you want that bokeh look, lenses tend to be slightly softer, so you get a softer image, wide open. So just pulling back one stop can make all the difference. So let's see what this works. This is T2. Let's go up to 2.8. Here we are, 2.8. It's getting darker, but it's not impossible. You know, this is 2.8 used to be like, oh my God, this is a great lens. I'm using it. And of course, the Micro Four Thirds, is it the 18 to 35 or something like that? 24 to 100, no, that's another one, different one. There's the Lumix lens, which is the common lens, zoom lens that everybody uses, 2.8, and that's very versatile. So yeah, don't knock 2.8. It's not as bad as you think, and it should be nice and crisp at this. Still a bit of bokeh, but not as much. But if you come in closer, of course, you can. Yeah, so you know, anything above 4, which is basically 5.6 and above, yes, you're going to get it in focus, but it's going to look a lot more like an iPhone video or a corporate video because everything is in focus. There's still a bit of bokeh in the background here, but it's getting dark, of course. And you know, the Canon lens that I have just over here, the older model, which is f4 instead of 2.8. Fortunately, with the Speedbooster, brings it to 2.8, so it's actually quite useful, really. It's quite clever. And that's a very good image. You can't deny that Canon know what they're doing with their lenses. And this is just coming from an amateur in terms of lenses. I'm skeptical about cinema lenses just because they're so fucking expensive. and what you get from it in reality doesn't translate to an audience, I don't think. It translates to the cinematographer, definitely, and sometimes to a lot of directors, but I don't think it translates to audiences, and so therefore it's excess money that could be put somewhere else, as far as I'm concerned, as an innovative, resourceful filmmaker as I am. So yeah, this is f4. So here we have the Samyang 85 T1.5 at 1.5. I think the camera is still on ISO 400. I mean, this is really nice in the sense that you don't. If someone's camera shy, this is a very good lens to have because it's way back in the distance, and it looks nice from what I can see up back here. And we're looking at about 3 meters away now to get this shot. 3 meters from the subject. So you know, an 85 is fine if you've got the space, but if you haven't got the space, 50mm for 2 meters, and then 35 for maybe just over a meter. For a sort of chest height interview. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to do this again, anally. So I stay in exactly the same position. Everything stays in the same framing, same height, so that I can really compare every shot. It might be an idea. I think there's a YouTube channel coming about, evolving in this discussion. F2. It should be sharper, should be more handsome, and yeah. So yeah. Let's move on to 2.8. So this is 2.8. I can see from here it's darker, though there's more greeny bits coming up. So yeah, what I found really hard actually in the 1.5 was the focus assist. You know, the green lines don't come up, and maybe I need to boost that in the settings and see if that helps. But that is a problem. And the worst thing, one of the most disappointing things about doing online video content is getting back to the edit suite and finding that a shot is soft. F4 is probably the limit that you're going to go. Anything above that, as in 5.6 and above, is going to get too video-y and too sharp. Unless, of course, you're doing something that requires sharpness. You know, if you're moving wide shots in scenic, cinematic locations, are of course better when they're all in focus. It just depends what you want to do, but yeah, if you want to isolate something, a subject, so you want people just to be looking at me and not all the crap in the office behind, and then you want to get as much bokeh in there as possible. This is the Canon 24 to 105 zoom lens, f4, but with the speed booster it's f2.8. I've had to up the ISO to the other native ISO, so not 400, I think it's 1250. In an unlit indoor room, I've got a window that side and a window this side with daylight coming in, but not a lot. You know, it's winter and it is a blue sky outside. So this is 3.5. It's 4 notches on my thing, and 8 notches goes to f4. So I don't know. So this is, as I say, 3.5. Let's go to 4. So here we are. This is f4. This is what the lens would have been giving the camera if there wasn't a speed booster. And you can see there is a difference. You know, there is a usable difference, and it's a real benefit to have this speed booster. At 1250 ISO, you're going to be fairly safe to lift this and still have usable footage. I may eat my shorts when I get down there and have a look at it, but that's what I understand. So this is the 105 super zoom in lens. I don't know what the bokeh is like here. Obviously, if you want a real soft background, then you want a room that's huge, because the further back the backdrop, the detail in the backdrop, the more blurred it will be, and the more crisp and cut out your subject will be. Now I'm looking at the monitor here, so does that look obvious? I'm now going to look at the lens there, then to the monitor. Lens, monitor, lens, monitor, lens, monitor, lens, monitor. I'm only curious because I was thinking if people's eye lines weren't correct, they could be talking there. Or so if I look, I'm looking at the handle now of the camera, which is on camera left. Does that look like I'm looking in the lens or not? And on the other side, I'm looking at the actual grip of the actual Blackmagic camera to the right. That probably looks fairly like I'm looking down the lens, but this is me looking down the lens. Oh yes, and there's no way of getting around it. So yeah, this is f2.8. Let's start bringing those down. This is 3.5, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, so if somebody was sitting there like on the sofa. Yeah, well, yeah, I do think that, Ronald. I do think that people don't respect Parliament as much as they should, and quite frankly, I don't care. So I'm looking into the room. Yeah, so that's that. And this is quite nice with the window because you get this kicker light free of charge, and then you've also got a bit of window light coming this way. Obviously, in if I was to do this professionally, I would to say I'm not a professional. I would have a key light somewhere around here, just bringing up the opposite side. So I might even just have a a small. I need to buy one of those actually. A small soft light. I've got a massive one, but I just need a small dome one, which I know exactly which one I want. Yeah, you can actually get a full 360 soft light as well, which is useful. So I might purchase a couple of those. Would be quite useful. Now that I'm getting confident with my lighting and I've got more of a lighting kit. So here we are at f4. Now, of course, with the Canon lenses, the L range, it's an f4 lens throughout its zoom. You know, a lot of cheap lenses at its widest angle will start at f4, but as you zoom in, it will go down to 5.6 and all sorts of stuff like that. So this is what you pay for, really, is consistent f-stop no matter what your zoom, which is, of course, you need that. So here we are in f5.6. Not bad, eh? So I guess the thing to understand is, in order to not get grain, you overlight this scene, so that you can see through the window better. But even the window you might need to add to this kicker, make it even stronger. And then you have a better light up here coming onto this face, so the ambient light is lighter, and then you darken everything down in post. I know that's true. I know cinematographers do that, but I've never done it myself. I've never had the balls, and it's very hard to gauge. But I suppose that's why you have LUTs, and that's interesting. Maybe I should try using a LUT where it's darkening everything down, and so I can actually see what I'm actually lighting. Very good idea, Derek. Very clever. Right, that's it, I think.